Picture two people, same age, same desk, same paycheck. Every detail about their lives is identical. Now fast forward 10 years. One of them is standing in front of a house. It's paid off, it's theirs. The other one is back at that same desk. Same paycheck, nothing changed. What happened in between? Not a windfall, not a single life-changing moment. What you're about to learn isn't motivational advice. It's closer to arithmetic. Most people assume the gap came from luck. A windfall, a connection, one perfect moment. But trace those 10 years back day by day. That lucky break is surprisingly hard to find. What you find instead is something quieter. A series of small, nearly invisible decisions. Most of them made in ordinary moments when no one was watching. Not dramatic turns, the kind nobody noticed. That is where the real gap lives. There are 5 of them, 5 quiet decisions. Think of your life as a long road ahead. 5 times along that road, the path forks. Each fork looks small from where you are standing. Miss one and you barely even notice, but each fork compounds quietly with every mile. By mile 50, you are in a different country. These are the 5 decisions that build the gap. The first decision is about who you listen to. Picture 2 people, same starting point, same morning. One is ringed by voices, be realistic, that's too risky. Those words don't feel like limits, they feel like care. The other person hears something entirely different. How did you do that? What if you tried? Over time, the voices you absorb shape what you attempt. And the doors you don't even think to knock on. Nearly half of what you do today is not a real choice. Psychologist Wendy Wood at USC spent years studying this. Roughly 43% of daily behavior runs on autopilot. Your brain isn't deciding in those moments, it's executing. Running programs quietly installed by everything around you. The people around you are part of that environment. They are not just keeping you company, they are quietly your operating system. So here is a quiet question. Think back to your last 5 conversations. Not small talk, the kind that actually shifted how you think, where you leave a little different than you arrived. How many of those can you name right now? Pause on that for a second. If you're struggling to think of even one, that silence is telling you something. This isn't about cutting anyone out. It's just about noticing the gap. Now look at the second gap. Every day around 5 o'clock, you get back time. 5 hours roughly between finishing work and going to sleep. Most people never really decide what to do with them. They just drift, phone out, show on, hours gone. The average American spends 7+ hours a day on screens. These are the quiet hours, nobody is watching. And that is exactly what makes them so powerful. Take 2 people leaving work at the same time tonight. One opens their phone and scrolls for an hour. The other spends that same hour on one skill. Tomorrow, same choice. The day after, same choice. A year passes. One person has a year of content they barely remember. The other has 365 hours of practice. That is 9 full 40-hour work weeks, built quietly after hours in one chosen direction. But none of that survives without decision 3. How you react the moment you fail. 2 people hit the same wall. One sits at the base and stays there. The other opens a notebook and writes something down. Same failure, different next decade. Think of a slope, not a cliff. A slip on the slope is not a fall off the peak. Dweck found that fixed mindset brains barely process their mistakes. What you do in that next minute is the decision. A Stanford researcher named Carol Dweck had a question. Why do some people grow from mistakes and others don't? She gave students a test, then showed them their errors. And she scanned what was happening inside their brains. For students who believed ability was fixed, almost nothing. Their brains were not processing the feedback at all. But students with a growth mindset, they lit up. Same mistake, completely different wiring. The 4th decision, most people never even notice. For most of history, consumer and creator were the same person. Now those 2 roles have almost entirely split apart. Most adults spend 7 hours a day on screens. Almost all of it someone else's content. But a small group is quietly building instead. The creator economy is already worth $200 billion. Consumer or creator, that quiet choice is now a fault line. That $205 billion economy didn't appear from nowhere. It was built by people who picked up a camera, who opened a document, who wrote a line of code. Teresa Amabile at Harvard found something about that momentum. Small daily creative wins trigger a compounding loop. Making something makes you more likely to make something else. One video becomes 10, one idea becomes a practice. By 2027, this is projected to reach $480 billion. And now we reach the hardest one. Decision 5, short-term comfort or long-term freedom. Short-term pleasure is real. You can actually feel it. Long-term reward is abstract, distant, almost impossible to grasp. Your brain was simply not built for this trade. It will almost always favor now over later. Think of a chess player sacrificing a piece. It hurts in the moment, but it controls the board. 5 moves from now. Here is what that looks like in real money. Your first job offer, they name a number, you could push for 10,000 more. The discomfort is real, the gap feels small, so you stay quiet and take the offer. That number becomes the base for every raise after. 30 years of growth built on a smaller floor. Total you quietly gave up, 400,000. One 5-minute conversation with a 30-year tail. Here's what actually ties all 5 together. These decisions don't operate in separate boxes. Better inputs reshape how you spend your free hours. Reframing failure keeps you showing up to create. And long-term thinking keeps you in the game. Long enough for the compound effect to hit. Think of 5 small gears all turning at once, each one quietly driving the next. Together they move something much larger than any single choice. And in the end we come back to 2 people. Same start, same ordinary day. One still at the desk, working quietly. One outside, standing under an open sky. No scoreboard between them, no trophy. Your future isn't built by one big moment. It's built by the small choices. The quiet ones you make when no one's watching. One figure now, walking a long empty road, the path ahead disappearing over the horizon.